Luke Richardson is the Giants Live World Tour Final champions. Hello and welcome back to the channel. And for those who don't already know, Luke Richardson last night won the Giants Live World Tour Finals. But before we get into talking about the competition and my reaction, I just want to talk about the log lift. Firstly, we are going to talk about it in context of the whole competition as well. But I just wanted to mention Jack Osborne, who won the World Log Lift Challenge with a max lift of 222 kilos to take a new British record. It was an amazing lift. The press looked easier than all of his other lifts leading up to it, and he did go for the world record, as did Andre Foytu. Jack was extremely close to getting it. He got it up to his chest. He started to press it, but unfortunately didn't quite have the strength there. I think another year of training, maybe less than that, but given a year up until this point, I think the 232 is definitely there. It'd be really good to see the likes of Lucas Hatton, Trey Mitchell, Andre, Jack Osborne, of course, Austin Andrade, Ian Bibby, Luke Stoltman back. There's a lot of really good log pressers that I want to see in the same lineup, all going for the world record, because we could see 5-6 people all over that 220 mark, and it would just be interesting to see. Andre Foytu did fail the clean. I did say this in my prediction video when I was speaking about Andre Foytu in terms of what his max lift on the log would be. I said I think he would have the power to press around the world record, if I'm being honest, but the clean will let him down, and that was the case. The 220 that he did for the new junior record, he managed to get it to his chest, but it was a bit more of a struggle. The press looked pretty routine, but the clean wasn't quite as easy. Now, we're going to go into the competition. I've got a few notes in front of me, so I am going to look there. The podium. First of all, Luke Richardson, as I've already mentioned, took the win. Andre Foytu finished in second place, and Andrew Flynn came in third. Now, of course, the first event was the log lift for Max. We had Jack Osborne, who was a guest lifter, took the win. So in terms of the overall competition, Andre Foytu was first, Tom Stoltman in second with 200 kilos, and then we had Luke Richardson, Ola Pilapiek, and Ryan Bennett all tied for third place with 190 kilos. Then we had a big pile of people all back on 180. Maxime, Mateus, Evans Nana, Tim Buck, Gavin Bilton, and Andrew Flynn. James Jeffers got the 170, failed the 180, and Callum Crozier, unfortunately, didn't get the opening lift. Andy Flynn looked really close to hitting the 190. I would say out of everybody that went for it and got close to it, he was the closest. He pretty much had it locked out, and it was like here, and he just lost it behind his head. It was unfortunate, but still 180 was a good lift. I think that's where I predicted him to be, and I think give him a bit more training. 190 is there, and that'll be a massive, massive lift for him. Event number 2, we had the load and push, which I think maybe needs to be heavier. It's a 120 anvil, 100 tire, 150 bag, and then push it back down. So Mateus had withdrawn after the log, unfortunately. I don't know what happened. Don't know if it's an injury. Don't know if he just felt a niggle and decided that he needed to pull out of the event. But apart from him, Ola Pilapiek is the only person who didn't finish this event. He managed 2 loads, but there was only 8 seconds between Tim Buck in 11th and Luke Richardson in first. So between the first place finisher and the last place finisher, there was only 8 seconds. And I mean, first to 8th was just shy of 3.5 seconds. And we had 4 guys from 3rd down to 6th who were all separated by 0.7 seconds. Now, I'm not saying it's not an enjoyable event to watch, because it is an enjoyable event to watch. They had 3 lanes all going at the same time. It's great. It adds drama to it in the sense that if you just go on your own, I would hazard a guess that if they all went on their own, the times would probably be more spread, but because you're racing against somebody else, you have that reference point and you push that a little bit harder to try and beat the guy next to you. I just like to see a little bit more separation on moving events. On events in general, I think separation really shows who the strongest person is. But the top 3 we had was Luke Richardson, Andrew Flynn, and then Evans Nana, moving Luke into first place by 3 points. And event 3 was the carry and drag, another moving event, but we did have better separation. Between the fastest and the slowest finishers, we had just over 20 seconds, which Maybe isn't a true representation of Callum Crozier, because he did, for some reason, pick up the duck walk. So this was the duck walk into the anchor carry and drag, anchor drag, sorry, not picking up the anchor, 350 kilos. But for some reason, Callum Crozier ran down, went round the duck walk, picked it up and started going back the other way. Now I can sort of understand the confusion because that's the finish line. But maybe it was just a bit of nerves, misunderstanding, I'm not sure. It happens to the best of us. We make mistakes. It is what it is. But he came back and he still finished with a pretty decent time, to be fair, considering the drag part as well. He's not the heaviest. There was more than a second separating every single athlete except for third and fourth, which was Andrew Flynn in third and Maxime Boudreau in fourth position. Now, the top three on this was the exact same as our last event, but in a different order. We had Evans Nana in first, Luke Richardson in second, and Andrew Flynn in third position. And this was good for Luke Richardson because he now had a 5.5 point lead over second place. Evans jumped from sixth place to second with this win, and Andrew Flynn went from fifth place all the way to third. We then had event number 4, which was the Wrecking Ball Holder, and was won by Andrew Flynn. So Andrew Flynn so far has had, what did he get there? A second place. Obviously, he had the log where he tied with 180, but so close. But he's had a second place, third place, and now a first place on the Wrecking Ball hold. We had Andre in second and Evans in third, with Luke Richardson, who dropped to fifth in this event, but still pretty solid points. Both Andre and Andrew went over 90 seconds. They were both in the 91 point something, and they were like 11 seconds clear of who was in third. They were 11 seconds clear of third place, which was Evans Nana. Now, going into the last event, we had the top 4 people had pulled away. If I just take a quick look here, we had Luke Richardson in first on 44 points. Andrew Flynn, 41.5. Evans Nana, 1 point back, 40.5. Andre Foytu, half a point back on 40 points. And then a big drop to Tom Stoltman, who was in fifth on 31, and then Ryan Bennett on 30 points. Tim Buck and Mateus both had pulled out by this point of the competition. And the last event was the Castle Stones, the Atlas Stone run. And to be honest, this is where Evans' great performance really sort of came crashing down. And the Atlas Stone came crashing down on him. When he was trying to load the 200, he ended up dropping it on his ankle. Now, he did get up, tried again. He walked off, he limped off. I've not seen anything posted anywhere on stories or anything like that. I have double checked. So if anybody knows different, let me know. But I think he's going to be all right. It's probably just going to be swollen, not feeling great today. But he had a really good performance overall in the competition. It was kind of sad that it had to end like that. I mean, he looked fine. He still came fourth place overall. But I think one of the things is that he was up against Andre, who Andre's never finished this set of stones, but he's not a bad stone lifter. He's just never seems to have the top end strength for stone lifting, which it correlates, in fairness, to his log cleaning. The clean of a log and the load of an Atlas stone is very, very similar strengths that you need. So he managed to finish these stones, and he actually finished second place on the event and overall, but on the Atlas Stone event, and he never finished these stones before. So Evans, knowing that he's going up against Andre, who's a fast stone lifter but might not get the fifth one, he's going to be rushing to try and get a quick time. So let's say, for example, he only gets 4, he at least then beats Andre. Maybe he gets all 5 and beats Andrew Flynn, because it was so tight, even with Luke Richardson still on 44, they were all in with a shot. Andre, from first to fourth, were all in with a shot of taking top spot. If a mistake happened, if somebody couldn't load the last stone, then there was a potential that any of them could have won. Andre, like I said, though, did have a good run, finished with just over 29 seconds. We had Gav in third, and of course Tom won the event 23.5 seconds, which meant that Andy Flynn, who came 6th on the event with a mishap as well on the first stone, he loaded the first stone so fast that it went over the back and he had to go around, pick it up and load it again. But he still finished 6th on the event, which was really good. Finishing third place overall. Andre did an opposite to what he did at Europe's Strongest Man. Europe's, I believe he was in the lead going into the Stones and then dropped to fourth position. Here he was in fourth position, jumped up to second. And then, of course, finishing off the podium, Luke Richardson took the overall win. Interestingly enough, if Andrew Flynn had hit the 190, then him and Luke would have been tied on points and Luke would have won because he beat him on the Stones, so it wouldn't have made any difference. But it just goes to show how good, admittedly there's two moving events in there, great events for the likes of Evans, Nana and Andrew Flynn. But that's a good event for Luke Richardson as well. The log press is a static event. The wrecking ball hold, you could say it's a static event. It's a muscular endurance event. It's a difficult event. The Stones, it's a difficult event. I think the two biggest takeaways for me is that Evans, Nana and Andrew Flynn competed right until the end with Luke Richardson, who is 2 times Europe's Strongest Man. He's one of the favourites when he goes into any competition. He has been touted as the future for so many years now. Everybody is convinced that he will win World's Strongest Man someday, and we believe that he should be at the biggest competitions. We already know that Andre, even at the age of 23, is a great athlete. And, you know, these two have competed right up there, right until the very end of this show. It just shows how good those two athletes are and that they do deserve their chances at bigger shows. I would like to see them get invites to bigger shows. It's just difficult because the Arnold's 10 competitors, the Rogue 10 competitors, Strongest Man on Earth probably isn't the event or the show for these two guys, but it is a bigger field. So I would, with the amount of, say, like Americans, North Americans that we had at the Strongest Man on Earth this year, I think one or two of them could have been replaced with Andrew Flynn and Evans Nana. Like, I think they deserve their shots at these sort of competitions. We do see them at World's Strongest Man. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Andrew Flynn make it to the final of World's Strongest Man. I wouldn't be surprised to see Evans Nana make it to the final of World's Strongest Man, especially for Andy now, who knows that he's qualified. He knows he's qualified for next year. He's got a long time. He could take, I assume he'll want to do Britain's Strongest Man, but if it was me, I would be doing Britain's Strongest Man in January. I wouldn't do Europe's. I'd have a long run in to World's Strongest Man and really aim to try and get into the final there, because we've seen it with the likes of Paddy Haynes, who wasn't really on the radar of many people, all of a sudden come in, do well at Brits, do well at Europe's, do well at Worlds, miss out on the Strongest Man on Earth, unfortunately, but now he's invited to the Rogue Invitational, and he's considered to be one of the top 10 guys in the world right now by a lot of people. Not by everybody, admittedly, but by a lot of people are considering Paddy Haynes as one of the top 10 guys in the world. So it can happen. Andrew Flynn is constantly improving. He's got a good head on his shoulders, a good coach. So I believe he could do good things next year if he keeps improving the way that he is. The same with Andre Foyt, who I said the same thing about him in one of my comments I was replying to yesterday. He's so young that he can make such rapid improvements in, you know, a short space of time. So him now knowing in October that he is going to the World's Strongest Man next May, that gives him 7 months to prepare for it. Those 7 months, he can bring those weaknesses that he still does have, he can bring them up even 3-4%. He's going to be right up there. Did he make the final of Worlds this year? I can't remember, but maybe he did. Maybe he made the final of Worlds this year. I'm not sure. But he's a threat at major competitions. He's all round very good. A few years ago, maybe even last year, people said that he wasn't the best at moving events. I think he's proved it in this show, which was 2 back-to-back fast-paced moving events with the likes of Andrew Flynn, Luke Richardson, Tom Stoltman, Evans Nana, Maxime Boudreau. You had a lot of good moving athletes in this lineup, and he's come out, came second place, 2 points behind Luke Richardson. Of course, shout out to Luke Richardson as well. He's not long off the bicep tear, and he's come back fighting, ready to go, took the win here. Tom Stoltman didn't... what I'll say about Tom Stoltman is I think he was treating this as a 75, 80% sort of competition. He wasn't full on sprinting to the implements. He didn't look to be, like, he looked like he gave it his all on the log press, and he looked like he gave it maybe 90% on stones. But the rest of it looked like 75%. Brick and Ball Hold's never been a good event for him, unfortunately. I'm not making excuses. I'm not saying that if he'd tried 100% then he would have won. I think that Luke Richardson was the deserved winner. Everybody on the podium deserved to be there. I'm saying that just watching him compete, he's got the Rogue Invitation in 2 weeks. That's a big competition, a big payout. He wanted to compete in Glasgow. To me, this is a final event session to see where he's at in terms of fitness and keeping up with the competition. I think he'll be relatively happy with what he achieved, and he'll go into Rogue with a little bit of confidence, get the ring rust off, and ready to compete at 100% when he gets there. Anyway, that's the end of the video. It's gone on longer than I expected. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next one.